Today's video is about the ENTP. Gino, Gino, go. Thank you. Byron, come on. Off you go. Go! Nailed it. Okay, so let's get started. Welcome back to Adventure with Isha. I'm Isha. I've been traveling for about 8 years now, and I've come to the conclusion that what the world needs is for everybody to embody radical love for themselves so that we can show radical love for everyone else. And so, right now, I'm doing a huge series on Myers-Briggs because I found Myers-Briggs to be an excellent, excellent tool for understanding yourself and for understanding other people. And so I'm going to do, guys, come on. Jeez. No, stop. Gino. Can't. So right now I'm doing a series where I'm doing a video for each of the 16 personalities and going over their cognitive functions, the loop that they get stuck into when they are stressed out, and what happens when each of the 16 personalities is in their grip state, which is when they're extremely stressed and are acting completely out of character. If you're not familiar with Myers-Briggs, I've done 2 introductory videos, one describing the 4 letters and one describing the cognitive functions. So you can find those videos as well and watch them first before you watch all these individual videos of the 16 personalities. I'm getting kisses here. Today's video is going to be about the ENTP, one of my personal favorites, I have to say. You know the internet trolls that you see? Almost certainly an ENTP. The ENTPs are notorious in the Myers-Briggs community. I think they have a particular reputation, let's say. I've got a soft spot for ENTPs because they are very similar to me. I'm an ENFP, except they're almost like my logical counterpart. ENTPs then, let's get into the cognitive functions first. So the ENTP cognitive function stack looks like this. They've got extroverted intuition as their dominant function, followed by introverted thinking, which is their auxiliary function or the second function, followed by extroverted feeling, which is their tertiary function, and their inferior function, the thing that is the hardest thing for them, the fourth function, is introverted sensing. So what does this all mean? Let's go through each of the functions, and I'm just going to describe to you what the functions do. The first one is extroverted intuition. This is the function that is all to do with intuitive pattern recognition. So taking in everything in your surroundings and connecting it to other things that you know. So constantly saying things like, this reminds me of this, that reminds me of that, and just constantly making intuitive links between different things. Trans-contextual thinking. So ENTPs are excellent at this, masterminds at trans-contextual thinking. They also generate ideas with this function. It's also the function associated with possibilities. So seeing what could happen, what something could lead to. So seeing all the different ways something could play out. The second function is introverted thinking, which is a highly logical function, and it's their own personal system of logic. Any of the introverted functions are to do with the person themselves. So ENTPs have this very powerful logical function, an analytical function that makes sense to them personally. It's a really powerful combination to have extroverted intuition and introverted thinking next to each other like this as your first two, because ENTPs can use both of them together to think of possibilities and analyze and problem solve. So they're really good at problem solving in abstract terms. They problem solve in their minds very quickly. They're very witty as a result as well. So really, really quick brains, essentially, very quick, fast-paced thinking. Their third function, which is slightly weaker, is extroverted feeling. Extroverted, so it's to do with other people or their environment. And so extroverted feeling is all about other people's emotions. It's their third function, so it's not as strong. And so ENTPs are not as good at tuning into other people's emotions and knowing how they're feeling. All this is really showing is that ENTPs would prioritize problem solving over considering other people's feelings or tuning into other people's feelings. The term for an ENTP on the websites like 16personalities.com is debater. So they're really good. They're very quick-witted, very quick in arguments and debates. And they would prioritize being right in a debate over other people's emotions. So that's where their reputation kind of comes from. They can be a little bit harsh sometimes in their debate style because they know they've got this really powerful problem solving at the beginning. So they're really good at coming up with arguments, but aren't as good at tuning into your emotions, so they might prioritize that over somebody's feelings. As they get older, ENTPs start to see the value of tuning into other people's emotions, and so they start to use that FE function a little bit more. Finally, for an ENTP, we've got introverted sensing, SI, as their final function. This is all to do with your sensory surroundings. It's an introverted function, so it's to do with their personal sensory surroundings. So just like we saw with the ENFP, it's to do with where is their stuff. It's to do with their surroundings. Do they know where all their physical belongings are? And it also is to do with your emails, your digital organization as well these days. And it's also to do with the past. And because it's their inferior function, it's not going to be in use as well as people who've got SI at the start of their stack. Okay, so we'll see what that looks like in future videos. The introverted sensing function is also to do with facts and details. So both ENFPs and ENTPs have this as their last function, and so they're not great with facts and details. It's more about overarching concepts. Remember, the inferior function is the exact opposite of the dominant function. The dominant function, being extroverted intuition, is all about abstract concepts and taking in your surroundings and exploration. Whereas SI, introverted sensing, is to do with stability, facts and details, the nitty gritty. Again, like I said in every video, this is not supposed to limit you. It's not supposed to box you in. This theory is simply showing you what your brain does naturally, what your brain does without you even thinking about it, and what you've probably always done ever since you were little. By understanding your tertiary and inferior functions, you can start to become a very well-developed version of your type. So if you're an ENTP, the thing you want to work on is other people's emotions, tuning into that, and being aware of how the room is feeling, let's say, or how being able to read a room, right? People who have FE as their dominant function are excellent. They do it without thinking. They are able to read a room like no other. But ENTPs, that's the thing to work on. And the other thing to work on is your physical surroundings, getting some kind of stability, having some sort of routine, because that's going to help you use your dominant and your auxiliary functions better. It's going to optimize your brain, essentially. So what does the ENTP look like under stress? Under stress, ENTPs do what all of the 16 personalities do. They skip their second function. So they go from extroverted intuition, which is all about exploration and idea generation and intuitive connections between things, to extroverted feeling this time. So different from the ENFP. What does that look like in practice? ENTPs become very scattered. They become people pleasers, right? Because they are going from ideas and exploration to how other people are feeling. So they start looking for external validation much more than usual when they're under stress. They try to be liked by everybody because they're using that tertiary function without using their introverted thinking function in the middle there. So they might start to look for external validation and skip over their own personal truth. That TI function is really important for them to stay logically consistent. So they might end up losing their focus and losing their sense of direction in life in general. They might become, more scattered in general. And they might overcommit. So because they're seeking external validation and they're trying to be liked by everybody, so they're going to overcommit to activities and not put in place boundaries that are in line with their own logic. Just like everybody else, if you are stuck in this loop as an ENTP and you're going from exploring ideas to seeking validation from others and you're tuning into other people's emotions, and you're skipping that second TI function. You want to re-engage your introverted thinking. Just like any of the E types, you want to go inwards, right? So if you're skipping your second function, you're skipping an introverted function. So you want to get quiet, you want to tune into yourself. And if you're an ENTP, your second function is a thinking function, logical function. So you want to tune into yourself and think, does this logically make sense to me? Is this in line with who I want to be, what I want to be doing? And think about why you're doing the things you're doing. Does it make logical sense for you to be acting the way you're acting or pursuing what you're pursuing? We saw with the ENFP in SI grip state, they become overly focused on routines and get nostalgic about the past. The ENTP is exactly the same. Because they have SI as their last function, as their inferior function, when they are in an SI grip state, they become nostalgic, feel drained, they feel like their spark is gone, they feel like they are stuck in the past, fixated on routines, and especially because it's in that last spot as their inferior function, it's used in an unhealthy way. So they begin to do things like obsess over their past mistakes. The NE function is the exact opposite of SI. So NE is all about exploration. And so if they're stuck in this SI grip state, they're going to also be more risk averse. Whereas usually ENTPs and ENFPs are risk takers. They will go and explore in their minds new ideas that are different and kind of out of the box. And when they're stuck in this SI grip state, ENTPs end up not really wanting to take those risks, not really wanting to explore. And that being stuck in this grip state is a sign that an ENTP is extremely stressed. If you want to come out of the grip state, you want to identify what your stress is. What is it that's causing this stress? And make sure to eliminate that. Because if you find yourself as an ENTP not wanting to explore, it's usually a sign that something is gravely wrong in your life. And so identify the source of stress, get rid of it as efficiently as you can, and then get back to being your natural exploratory self. ENTPs, you guys are so curious. You're naturally curious beings. So ignite that curiosity. Go and explore and use that TI function to link your exploration with logic. Because when you combine those two functions at the top, you end up changing the game. You end up having these wacky ideas that truly change everything. ENTPs have the potential to make huge changes to the world, to society, to their own lives, to the lives of people they care about. So ENTPs anchor your curiosity in logical truth, your own personal truth. ENTPs come up with some of the most incredible ideas. And in order to make those ideas a reality, you do have to engage those bottom two functions as well. So tuning into other people's emotions. So thinking about how this would help other people can help you problem solve better as well. And obviously having routines and keeping your stuff organized is also going to help you forward your ideas and your problem solving. I have a true soft spot for ENTPs. I think I see a lot of myself in ENTPs. So when I meet one, immediately we get along, we share ideas all day long. So I really admire ENTPs. They do have a reputation. They do rock the boat sometimes. They do push things a little too far. But remember, if you are talking to an ENTP, their role in society is to rock the boat. Their role in society is to come up with those wacky ideas. Their role is to challenge people and to think outside the box. So when ENTPs appear to be argumentative, just know that's them intellectually stimulating you and themselves because it's fun for them. It's what their brains are designed for. So try not to get upset with the ENTPs in your life when they are pushing you and prodding you and poking you and challenging you and picking apart your ideas. It's what they do best. So I watch ENTPs in admiration when they do this with me But if you're talking to an ENTP, be really good with your boundaries. They also know when to stop. Healthy ENTPs know how not to go too far. So healthy ENTPs will challenge you, they will prod and poke, but if you say to them, do you know what, that's probably enough intellectual debate, that's probably enough prodding and poking, healthy ENTPs will engage that third function, extroverted feeling. They will pick up on the fact that you're not enjoying the debate any longer, and they will know when to stop. So ENTPs, keep exploring, keep doing your thing. The world needs brains like yours. And I admire the hell out of it personally. I'm currently also in the process of dating all of the 16 types. I have quite a lot of data points for ENTPs. I've quite a lot of experience dating ENTPs at this point. They've been really fun to date. I'll let you know that much right now. I have a lot to say about the ENFP ENTP dynamic. Those videos are coming, so hit subscribe so you don't miss those. And otherwise, as always, embody love for yourself and for everyone else, including ENTPs. I know it's hard. See you next time. Hey, excuse me. Excuse me, Byron. Not this again. Byron, sit. Beautiful. Four. Shake. Is that my sock? Excuse me, Gino. My sock. What are you doing with my sock?